I, John, am the one who heard and saw all these things. Let all on the earth and in heaven sing. Jesus is the source of David and heir to his throne. If you find and follow Jesus, you will never be alone. He is the bright morning star. He is the God who's never far. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let anyone who hears this say, come. Let anyone who is thirsty come, because the work of the cross is done. Drink freely from the water of life. The way and truth is Jesus Christ. He sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John. The day of truth is about to dawn. The angels in a group of 7. He comes with the clouds of heaven. Comes with the clouds of heaven. This revelation to his servant John. The day of truth is about to dawn. The angels in a group of 7. He comes with the clouds of heaven. He comes with the clouds of heaven. Clouds of I, John, am the one who heard and saw all these things. Let all on the earth and in heaven sing. Jesus is the source of David and heir to his throne. If you find and follow Jesus, you will never be alone. He is the bright morning star. He is the God who's never far. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let anyone who hears this say, come. Let anyone who is thirsty come, because the work of the cross is done. Drink freely from the water of life. The way and truth is Jesus Christ. He sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John. The day of truth is about to dawn. The angels in a group of 7. He comes with the clouds of heaven. Comes with the clouds of heaven. I, John, am the one who heard and saw all these things. Let all on the earth and in heaven sing. Jesus is the source of David and heir to his throne. If you find and follow Jesus, you will never be alone. He is the bright morning star. He is the God who's never far. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let anyone who hears this say, come. Let anyone who is thirsty come, because the work of the cross is done. Drink freely from the water of life. The way and truth is Jesus Christ. He sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John. The day of truth is about to dawn. The
All right, we
angels
are
in
here.
a group of seven. He comes with the clouds of heaven. Comes with the clouds of heaven.
All right, everybody, welcome to the place. Great to be here tonight, and ready to pray for you and we're going tonight. And thank you for coming in. This is Monday
This
night,
revelation
and
to his
glad to be here.
servant John.
So
The
hopefully you
day
are
of
ready
truth
for
is about to dawn.
the week.
The angels
And
in a group of
tonight we're
seven.
sharing some,
He comes
I
with
think,
the
some really cool
clouds of
stuff, some really
heaven.
good information about what's going on in America and the world. And
He comes with the clouds of heaven.
all right, so we're getting things going on tonight, and I got the music turned on. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Wow. All right. So, if you have any questions tonight, please let me know, and we will get back with you and for you and to you, whatever you have, question or whatever it is. We'd be glad to answer them. If you have anything that you'd like to know, no answer, no question is too, you know, ignorant or unintelligent because who really knows what's going on about, especially what we talk about. But we tell you things before they happen, so that when they happen, you will later go back and go, well, at least we knew that was going to happen. And so that's one of our main ministries, one of our main jobs that we do. And we spend a lot of time doing it because it's really important as to what's going to develop in the next few uh, weeks and months. And when it all starts happening, you'll be able to look back and go, wow, that really is happening. And it's really amazing. And we are amazed, God, at you and thankful for you for enlightening us on what is happening around the globe and in the United States of America. So, yeah, tonight we're going to share with you some really interesting things that have just happened just recently, as far as uh, the United States and Texas working together. We're going to find that the United States and Texas working together on a lot of different things. We're starting to see that develop already, and it's really it's an astonishing sign, actually, of what is unfolding. A lot of it is being hidden, of course, and they're going to surprise a lot of people with some economy things that are going on. There's going to be a shock to a lot of people. Hopefully, it won't be too much of a shock to you because we're going to tell you before it happens right here. So tonight we're going to talk about. I want to keep you abreast on what's happening. The Bible says in Revelations 18, "Come out from among her and be separate and holy." Let's go there real quick. Let's go to Revelation. Um, 18. I'm going to go there for a moment. I want to kind of share with you what we're in the process of doing. It's kind of a long process. I say long, takes months for it to all develop, and sometimes a few short years. So I don't want to make everything sound like it's going to be off for like 10 years because it's not. Um, there's just too many things closing in on us in a very good way, in my opinion. Um, okay, so I really believe that this scripture in Revelations 18 is talking about us and our generation right now at this time. Um, that we're finding a system that is being really corrupted, and you find that like Trump and others are trying to bring us, separate us all out from the system, and I'm going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so okay, please turn the volume up. Okay, thank you for that. All right. All right, let me know if that's better. I think I just turned it up. Let me do a couple things here. Hopefully that is a little bit better. Let me know if that's a little bit better. More? Hello, 1 2. 1 2. I don't know if I can or not. Okay, let's do this. Give me a second here, be right back. Okay, can you tell any difference now? Is that any better? Hello, 1 2 3 4. Repeat back what I'm saying if you don't mind. 1 2 3 4, so you know exactly what I'm saying. All right. So that's a little better, hopefully. All right. Very, very good. Um, all right. So volume issue here. Thank you for telling me about it. Okay, so I think that's better as far as we can tell, right? A little bit better, maybe. All right, so thank you. Also, tonight, I'm reading scripture right now because I believe this is kind of what's happening. It's a process, it's not just like a real quick thing that's happening. And we've talked about this before in Revelation 18, where it talks about um, come out from among her, it be separate and be holy. I think a lot of the things that are happening with the economy right now is that we're being a lot of things are being covered up. Um, I don't think that they're telling us the truth about a lot of things, and so that's going to create a problem in the future. And so, yeah, um, yeah. Let me kind of stay on track here. I don't want to get off too much on that right now. Let's talk about this. All right. So it says that in Revelation 18, the fall of Babylon the Great. Right. So we're talking about Babylon falling, and when Babylon falls, thank God we don't fall with it, right? Because we come out from among them, which I have done, just like PGN is a good example of how that I have been led by God to do a prophetic act of taking 90% of our cash and turning it into gold and silver, which is now, again, it's taking off again a little bit. But we've been up over double. Even when everybody sold out, we were way up over double. We're still over double. We've been really blessed. So God has really anointed that, and it's been an example. We are probably the most financial profitable as far as percentage. I think we're going to have a record for being the most from going from having the cash in the bank to taking 90% of that cash and buying gold and silver, that we have multiplied and become financially uh, the percentage wise a major amount. We set a record. I don't know how high level the record is, but we have set a record on that. Most people don't know that. But PGN, being led by the Holy Spirit, and the fact that God has put the mantle of the market in my life and told me what to do with gold and silver and with our cash and as a prophetic act, it wasn't that it was going to happen overnight. I didn't know how it was going to happen exactly. And it's obviously not happening overnight. But when the war started in Israel with Gaza, that was a really big thing going on. That was a sign to me, especially a little bit later as I looked at it, that the system is in the process of totally changing. And so people in the high ups are a little bit messed up. They really don't know what's going on. And I'm trying to tell them, right? They do listen to me, believe that or not, and including the IRS. They listen to what I have to say, and they keep up with my stuff because of where we are at, what we have done financially, as that we have as a ministry, we have gone and become the most productive as far as percentage wise goes on financial wealth. Then it's a record. It's a record, and I'm trying to get the exact information on how high level that is, because we just went from you know turning a certain amount of money into double and more than double in a very short time, really, in comparison to a lot of uh, things that people have done. We have basically set a record for that. So it's really, really awesome. Congratulations to the Lord, and the fact that, thank God, I obeyed Him and did it when He told me to. I didn't think I was going to make it. But we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight with Trump, dealing with some of the things that Trump and Texas are working together on. Trump, the federal government, or Trump and the Texas government are working close together, and you're going to see that tonight. And it's all in the news. It's not something that I'm making up or that I'm saying is happening when it's not. It's all in the news everywhere. And we're going to bring it out tonight and kind of show you what's really going on. And I don't know that we're going to uncover any hidden things as much as we're just going to show the signs with what has actually happened and what we have warned everybody about. You're actually going to see that manifestation of that tonight. We're going to reveal that somewhat tonight, pretty well, I think. So we're going to give a scripture here, and it says that there was talking about Babylon. Babylon has fallen. Babylon the Great is fallen. Has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean, hated bird. Have you not seen the governments of the world, even with the latest sin, if you will, of anti-Semitism in America and around the globe, and going back to like Nazi Holocaust with Hitler and all that? I mean, you can see it's shaping up for that. So we can't ignore those signs and say, well, everything's just okay because Trump has, gone in and got trillions, a lot of money from the Saudis and different things going on, and it looks really good, and I think he's really trying hard. But I'm going to show you some things tonight that will help you understand what's really going on, and so we're talking about Babylon falling. We're looking at when God told me in October the 13th, 2023, was going to be the beginning of the fall of Babylon. the fall of the economy of the United States of America, the actual global uh, change of currency is going to change. We're already seeing that develop within the United States government and Texas government. We're going to show you that tonight. All right. It's real simple. It's not a complicated thing to get. So I have to have it simple for me. So Babylon, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. This is where we're going. It's become a dwelling place of demons. I mean, who could who could say that's not true? A prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants, here's the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. So we're going to see riches. We've seen that. We've seen a lot of money going around, and there's a lot of things going on with money. And here's the part I want to get to. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she has rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup of in the cup which she has mixed double for her." So what do we talk about a lot with when the Israelites got ready to go into Canaan land? They couldn't go into Canaan land until the cup of iniquity was full. The cup of iniquity was full. They couldn't pass over and go into the promised land and totally be separate as a nation with its own economy, with its own currency, without making it into their homeland. Their homeland is where they established their economy, and gold and silver became the new currency, or the currency, which is common back then, really back. So we are saying to you and to God's people and to those who listen to me privately, we are getting ready to watch a system change. It's already began when Israel and Hamas began to fight, because Israel and Hamas is about the Muslim Brotherhood, because Hamas is really the Muslim Brotherhood. That's really what they are. They're a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. So we're finding that Texas and Trump, the federal government, have now dealt with the Muslim Brotherhood in specifics, uh, and anything connected to them, and calling them uh, a terrorist organization. Right. So what's happening there? We're coming out from among her. We're separating ourselves out, boldly saying, we will not let you take us down like you're taking Europe down. We are going to separate ourselves from, you know, and boldly come out and say, like Trump and President Trump has done what last last few days, that we're not going to tolerate the Muslim Brotherhood any longer because it is a terrorist organization, and we're going to separate ourselves from it. It's going to cause some problems. It is going to cause some problems, but it has to be done, because if we do not come out from among her now, and all those branches that are associated with that system, that is going to be the system that's going to try to overtake the world, with Nathaniel Rothschild and the Rothschild family, uh, you know, trying to shepherd Israel, and they really mean well when they're shepherding Israel, but because they're not believers in Christ Jesus, they're going to do all the wrong things according to God. As far as, they're going to believe the wrong things. They're going to, just like in the book of Acts, that religious system is going to come against people who believe in Jesus. At least the religious order of it will. What is going to come against us is going to persecute us. They will do that. I'm not saying the common Jewish people will do that, but as they begin to take over, as the temple is built, which is coming around the corner, excuse me, then he will just show up, and so that just tells you how close we are to that happening. It's right around the corner, literally. But as we've said, I want to remind everybody, this is Revelation 12. God is going to take many of you, not me in particular, because I know my mission. Many of you will be hidden and hidden from all this. You will be kept safe from it. Now, will there be martyrs? Yeah, there'll be martyrs. But for the most part, thousands upon thousands. Revelation 7 talks about all those people. They saw all those people that came out of the Great Tribulation, came out of it. They went through it and came out of it. And there was so many of them, they couldn't even count them all. Now, a lot of these are going to be counted among the Revelations uh, 7, the Revelations chapter 7 amount of people, which is so many they couldn't number them, are going to be blessed by being in that secret place, in that hidden place that we've talked about in Revelations 12. So if you are not made to be in the front lines, which many of you are not, some may be. I don't really know anybody who's called to be in the front. I know I'm called to be in the front lines, and so I'm going to be facing things, that are going to be, you know, amazing and wild. But I'm made for it. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I've been tried and tested. I'm being tried and tested on a regular basis. To be honest with you, on some of these things, and God has just graciously, you know, taken care of me. It's just been a mind-boggling experience. My basic thinking just about every day is, if God is for me, who could be against me? Literally, I mean, literally, just about every day now. I am in my heart. I'm going, either God's with me or He's not. Or you could say it like, if God is for me, who could be against me? That has been the anthem that I am literally living by. Literally, literally. And I can't tell you everything. It doesn't really matter, but I try to give you little pieces here and there. If you pay attention, you'll understand where I'm coming from. But this is an amazing time that we are going to watch happen. And Trump and, oh, by the way, Elon Musk showed up at one of Trump's meetings in the Saudi Arabia. Did y'all see that? Elon Musk and Trump said hello to him publicly and mentioned Elon Musk. So they're, I don't know how much they're back together publicly, because they can't really come together publicly that much because of the problems it causes Elon. So they separated out. They have separated out to keep each other from causing problems for each other. And it was a smart move. Okay, back to what I'm saying. Okay, so Trump uh, and Governor Abbott working together in June of this year, June, within a few weeks of each other, worked together on, number one, making gold and silver legal tender. That was done in June of 2025. And Governor Abbott did that first. And then a few weeks later, then President Trump came out to complement it, and he created the Genius Bill, which is really about how it's going to allow, the Genius Bill is going to allow gold and silver and the debit card to work not only in Texas, but in the United States. And then with Elon, it's going to go global. Okay, you're going to see all that. You're going to see all that happen. It's going to be amazing. You can see that it's already developing by the fact that President Trump, who's in the federal government, is working with Texas. It just happens to come out that Texas does something, and then Trump comes along a few days later or a few weeks later and does something to complement it. Y'all notice that? That just happened again, because just recently, just in the last in November 2025, Donald Trump, the federal government, after the Texas government lowered the boom on the Muslim Brotherhood and CAIR, and groups that are now called terrorist groups. They have now declared them as a terrorist organization, which means they can't buy land and they can't function freely in the United States of America. What happened? Texas did that, right? Texas did that, and then 6 days later or so, Donald Trump does the same thing. Texas does it, Donald Trump does it, the federal government. Texas government does something. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, stood up and said, "We're not going to have no more land to any Muslim organizations, the Muslim Brotherhood, and anything connected to the Muslim Brotherhood." But there's a lot of different connections to the Muslim Brotherhood with different names, and they're going to tag all of them. And so they're saying that that's it for you. So is that going to cause problems? Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm just going to prepare you for some things. Okay, so here we go again. Texas Governor Abbott passed laws, didn't just talk about it, wasn't just saying, "Oh boy, let's do some of this." No, he actually literally passed a law that gold and silver could become is now legal tender. In other words, you can use it to buy stuff. It's now legal tender. Texas did that, and a few weeks later, Trump comes out and he does something to add to it that is the genius bill. Just a few weeks later, and the genius bill takes what Governor Abbott is doing and makes gold and silver work through a debit card. Eventually, actually, do a debit card to buy whatever you want, pay your bills. You got to understand it. And then watch this. Then this month, November 2025, Texas State, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, again doing the same thing. Him and Trump working together. Watch this. It's not anybody else but Texas and Trump. Texas says no more Muslim Brotherhood buying property and land. No more any organizations connected, because we now declare you as a terrorist organization, which legally makes it to where they can't function, which is a good thing because they're doing a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff, scary stuff, taking over, buying. They built 42 mosques, I think, in 24 months, in 2 years. 42 mosques in Texas. 42 mosques they built in 2 years. 42, maybe 44 or 48. I can't remember. It's a lot. It's in the 40s for sure. Yeah, that's now been stopped. Right? That's going to cause some problems because they nailed them as a terrorist organization officially and legally. That does a lot to take care of stuff where they can't buy land and they can't come into our state and do whatever they want, right? And so Texas worked together, Trump works together. Again, November, just a few months later, Trump works together and Texas works together. What does Texas do? Stops the Muslims, calls them the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, can't buy land, all that. That's already a done deal. And then just a few days later, Donald Trump comes out and makes it federal. You see how they're working together? This is, if you can listen to this and if you can hear this, this is a key development in how everything that we've been telling you here at PGN about how if Texas is going to be all the things we've said. We've said a lot of things about Texas. It is a sign that Texas, and as much of the government as Trump controls, which he does the whole United States, but he's trying to take back America is what he's trying to do. And so it's going to be, so he came in and he created a federal law that says the Muslim Brotherhood and all those organizations that are connected to them are now a terrorist organization, which legally makes it legal across the United States of America. And Texas, both times, Texas started and Trump followed. They're just working together. It's not that one is better or one is faster than it. They're working together. It's the proof of it. And these are major operations going on. This is major stuff happening. This has to do with everything we've been prophesying about for several years, about how the debit card is going to have, Texas is going to have a debit card. It's going to go global. Remember, we talked about all that years ago. Okay, I know I repeat myself. We have brand new people that come in and listen, so just bear with me as I repeat myself. So this has all been documented. We have it all documented. We document everything, and so this is going to create a problem. But you can see, I'm talking about a problem with the Muslim Brotherhood, and it's also going to create some. They're going to try to create some havoc in Texas and the United States, and because look what's happening. Donald Trump is also being used in Israel or in Hamas or in Hamas and Gaza, where Hamas is been ruling Gaza, and they are Muslim Brotherhood. You catch? They are Muslim Brotherhood. Hamas is Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, what's God dealing with here in Texas in the United States? We now named him a terrorist organization. What's happening in Israel, basically in Israel, Gaza, they're they are now naming them a terrorist organization. It's being tagged. And so what are they doing? The United States of America and Israel and others are forming a group of people, a group of nations that are getting ready to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood or Hamas in Gaza. Okay. So this is really, 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 really important to get it down in your brain and try to start believing that I'm hearing from God, okay, about this stuff. That I'm not just over here trying to start a ministry and keep things going and keep people happy and all that. I'm not trying to keep anybody happy, and I'm not trying to keep anybody miserable either. But we have a job to do, and I'm just doing my job. Whether you have many or few, whatever it is, I'm going to do my job, and I'm doing my job tonight. So here you go. So this is what's happening, and so we see the Muslim Brotherhood being dealt with by Trump and uh, not governor of Texas, but the prime minister of Israel. They're working together to deal with them, to disarm them. What are they disarming? They're disarming the Muslim Brotherhood. It's the same thing that we're doing here in the United States of America. There is a movement that's happening where we are disarming them. When Abbott did his thing here in Texas about the Muslim Brotherhood can't buy property and those groups, CAIR Care, which is the Muslim Brotherhood uh, organization, you can't do anything here. You are a terrorist organization, and we're going to stop you. What's happening in Israel all the way across the world? The same thing, except at a bigger level, uh, right? So just like uh, when they went after the hang on a second. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get the names of some of these people. I don't even know if it's going to make any difference or not. But a lot of the people that have like the 911 when all that happened, 911 was a product of what the Muslim Brotherhood. When that 911 thing happened in the United States of America, it was a product. Those people who did that were uh, Muslim Brotherhood. Did y'all know that? Did y'all realize that? So there's a real movement toward getting rid of or putting a damper on the growth and the roots of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood has a lot of different names, and we're going to start exposing that and naming those as we have permission to do it. Obama, Osama bin Laden, right? Osama, you know who Osama bin Laden was? They I think during President Obama's time in office, he took Osama bin Laden out, right? Uh, Not Obama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden. He was a Muslim Brotherhood. So you see how important this is? You see what's happening? This is the Muslim Brotherhood we're talking about. All these organizations that have killed and destroyed and done a lot of things are Muslim Brotherhood. They're not just Muslims who are against Jews. This is specifically that group. So it's being dealt with right now. So at the same time, we see Trump and Governor Abbott working together for the financial realm. Because let me tell you something. The reason the gold and silver thing is so important is that most people are not paying attention to this, but I'm just going to come around and tell you that for the most part, gold and silver will not being sold like crazy and breaking records. It is broke. Gold and silver have broke more records I mean, it's record-breaking gold and silver buying. You don't do that unless people have a fear, or some of them have an understanding that we are going to have some major problems in our government finances, in our in the U.S. financial system. There's things going on that they're trying to fix, but everybody knows that it's just not going to work because it's too deep and it's too dark and it's not going to change. We can pray all we want to, but it's not going to happen. They're going to try to, you know, some people don't think that the dollar's going to be taken out, but they do say, the same people will say, we don't think the dollar's going to be taken out, but they will say that we believe that Trump should back up the dollar with gold. That would be interesting to see that he backs up the dollar with gold. That would be interesting. We'll talk about that later, but either way, whatever you believe, I don't want to argue with people about whether they think the dollar's going to go in or go out. Even the people who say the dollar's not going to go out are saying that it's got to. If he doesn't back it with gold and silver, or with gold mainly, that it's not going to be safe. So the whole theme about on both sides is they've got to get gold and silver to back the dollar, and of course we're saying that that we're going to have the debit card, which they've already approved in the legal system. They've already approved the debit card. That's already all been done. It's no longer going to be done. It has been done, y'all, just like we prophesied 5 years ago. Okay, so this is actually happening. So gold, if gold is the way gold and silver have been selling since we invested in it on October the 4th, 2023, if you look at the charts, it has gone off the charts, record breaking. Why do you think people are buying gold and silver? Because, oh, there's no problem, we just like gold and silver? No, they're buying gold and silver because they know that they're going to call it inflation, whatever they're going to call it. They know that the American economy is not going to work without some kind of major change. Like some people are hoping that Trump takes the dollar and backs it by gold and silver. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll tell you what they're saying. But we're saying that we now have a new system that is already being legal with gold and silver and a debit card, which is going to be, for the most part, the net that's going to catch us from going down. So we have been right in the middle of all this, as you know. For those of you listening for the first time, brand new, and listening to me from other developments, other places around the United States and the world that are for the first time, welcome to Rain and Channel Ministries and PGN. We are here to share with you a lot of information. So keep your hat on, and or maybe take your hat off and sit down and relax. We have a lot to say, and we're talking. I talk a lot about words that we've given years ago because I want people to know. Nobody was talking about this stuff when we talked about it, according to the Spirit of the Lord. Nobody was talking about this. And then a couple of years into it, you started hearing little flurries of, you know, people saying, I think Texas is starting to do some stuff. But there was no for sureness about any of it. And then they had to go through the long process of passing the laws. And so it was not being heard. It was not being done. And we prophesied it at least 2 years before there was a blink in the eye of anybody publicly. All right. And these people who listen to me privately, who are organizations and you know, yeah, organizations, I'll just say, they know that I've said all this. They know it better than some of y'all know. They keep up with this more than some of you keep up with it, which is okay, but I'm just saying, because they're going like, who is this guy? I mean, I was approached just a few weeks ago, again, with a badge. I can't say too much, and reveal their badge, so they know that it was real, and nobody was ugly. Nobody said much of anything about anything bad. They just kind of like let me know that they're watching me. Why are they watching me? Well, there's several different reasons. It's because one of them is they know more about what's going on when I talk about it than y'all do. And that's why I use this platform as a way to talk to them, to say to them, this is what's going to happen, and they are watching the prophetic word come to pass with more clarity than most of you are seeing it happen, because you're not really, they're into all this stuff, and you guys are kind of like learning and growing, and so am I. So most of you are not really, don't know what's going on. You just hear me talk about it, and go, oh, yeah, okay, that's really great. We believe it. Okay, hopefully you're right. We don't know, whatever. Yeah, okay, awesome. But these people, they know the details. They know what's going on. They know that we talked about this 2 years before it ever happened. They know that. They know it better than anybody knows it. And they've been watching me for a while, since I did my Romanian thing, when we called out a president, said he's going to, God doesn't like him. God is not happy with him. And then a few weeks later, he was being impeached. That's what we call it here. They call it something else, but it's the same thing. You know, and when that got kicked around, uh, that got me out there a little bit, in a way that I didn't necessarily think I was. I didn't know God used that to get me out there globally, and they began watching me, and they're coming out and they're telling me that they're watching me in different ways. They're telling me this. They're showing me. So am I afraid? It has nothing to be afraid. I'm the one who is protected by God. I'm the one who has to say every day, because God is for me, who could be against me? And literally mean that, and literally have a reason to literally say it. Yeah. Either God's with me or he's not. That's what I say it again today. God, you're either with me or you're not. And I know you are. So, I mean, but that's where I'm at. I'm not into this thing of, well, bless God, I hope Jesus uses me someday. So I'm gonna, this is, this is actually happening. And I can't tell you, I would love to tell you the last thing that happened to me in the details, but I can't. I'm just letting them know, hey, I'm, I'm letting people know that you guys are, doing your thing, whatever. They're not being ugly or rude or mean or nasty. And, but they're letting me know, literally. So, and I'm enjoying it, actually. I kind of, I'm gonna tell you the whole thing pretty soon, maybe, but I'm hoping I can. But it's a little deep for some of you. I don't want to freak some of you out, but it is absolutely amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. So when you hear me say that, I'm saying to myself and to the Lord, like, uh, you're either for me, uh, and because you're on my side, I can't lose. And I don't know what all is going to happen exactly, the details, but every time God has delivered me and blessed me, sometimes I feel like Moses a little bit, on a real small level, like a little bitty Moses over here, like, and to a certain degree, and Joshua at the same time. So if we're not going to fail to take the people in, we're going to take the people in. We're not going to do like Moses, right? By the grace of God, we're going to take the people in, and that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm trying to show you that, without telling you too much, because some of you would not believe it anyway. Some of you would, and some of you it would probably shake you up a little bit. But because you're not in my shoes, you don't know what I know about how God has totally watched over me, and taken care of my people that were trying to become my enemies. I mean, He wiped them out in different ways. Not all wiped out physically, but just wiped it out. And it, anyways, that's all I can say about that. But it's been very interesting to live your life knowing that, uh, you know God is either with me or He's not. That I live like that. Like I said earlier, again and again, I'm going to tell you, yeah, He's either with me or He's not. That's where I'm at. And every time so far, and I think it's going to continue for a long time, He's showing me that He's with me, and He's going to deliver me in all these different ways. And I never know how He's going to do it, because I don't have anything to do with how He does it. It's amazing to watch how He's dealt with different situations with different people in different ways. So I don't know how He's going to do it. I don't pray for God to deal with them like this, God. I don't do any of that. I say bless them. I love them. I mean, so far, those who have approached me to my face, uh, have been, friendly to a certain degree, not ugly or rude or offensive. So they're playing their cards pretty smart so far, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see what God does when they try to not play their cards so smart. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no clue, and I don't really care. That's his business, not mine. So we're coming out from among the system, and the system is like going, like when Moses brought them out, and they were at the Red Sea. They had the gold and the silver, and here came Pharaoh, and right when Pharaoh approached them, he said, "Man, we got them now. They're backed up against the Red Sea." And then the fire of God fell. You remember that? And the fire of God fell, and the fire of God's whirling around, and Pharaoh's army can't go past the fire to go get the Israelites. And all the people are freaking out and going, "Oh my God, we're all going to go down now. Moses, you brought us out here. We're all going to die." And they're going to take the money, and they're going to take the money. They're going to take everything. What are you going to do? Where's my money? I need my money. Oh God. And they were freaking out, just like some people that I know. We're all going to grow through this, right? We're all going to look back a few years ago, man, I was so immature, but I've grown. Yeah. Because you don't know what I know. I'm trying to tell you, but most of you still don't believe it. But they were backed up against the Red Sea. The fire of God fell, it kept the army from hitting them. That's what the Bible says. And then all of a sudden, Moses puts out his rod, and the water opened up, and they went over on dry ground. And when they went over on dry ground, then God let the fire up, just because he's setting them up. He lets the fire, go back up in the heavens. And then all of a sudden, Pharaoh goes, "Nah, man, we can get them now. God's not protecting them now." And this is literally happening. I mean, this is and not the fire and all of that, but it's in a whole different way. And so it's like so Pharaoh's army gets sucked into the Red Sea, right on the dry ground, and all of a sudden, because all the Israelites got on the other side safely, as soon as they did, the waters all came back and drowned all of them. And that's what the Lord told me, that I'm going to see that happen. Not physically with water, and not physically with like an army, a physical army so much. But he said, "Randy, you're going to see this. This is going to happen for you because you've done what I've told you to do. I'm going to I'm going to swallow them up." Now, I didn't ask God to swallow them up. I don't think Moses knew when they crossed over the Red Sea and the water was up like walls and they were over. And I don't think he was like going, "Okay, God, let the water." No, I mean, God did that. Moses wasn't in control of any of that stuff. He was like going like, "I don't know. They're coming to get us, God. What are you doing?" And all of a sudden, you know, Moses did his thing, and the rod, Moses didn't say, "Let the waters come down," like a prayer. It just all of a sudden it happened. And all of a sudden the waters came in and drowned them all, or most of the military, drowned them. And God told me, literally, I know this sounds crazy, but you live in my world, you understand how God takes care of business, man. I mean, it is shocking sometimes to watch how God takes care of my business that is his business. And I'm waiting for the fire of God to come out of my mouth sometimes. I mean, literally, I don't know, literally, but I mean, I'm waiting for, I don't know. It's just been so amazing. And these people think they're arrogant, they're pompous, just like Pharaoh. These people, and I'm not going to name the names of these organizations, but these people we got the power. We could come take you out. You are nothing but a slave. We got the law. We got all the other stuff, and you ain't got a chance, boy. You better do some bowing and do it quick. And I'm just like going, that ain't going to happen. Do you hear me? That is not going to happen. And God is going to deal with you however he chooses. I don't know. I'm not saying drown them all. I'm not saying that. I don't know what he's going to do. All I know is that he already told me it's going to happen. Just like he told me I was going to be part of the temple building, and that later on it became, the red heifer thing. It's like he told me the name of the Antichrist, and that was confirmed time and time again. And that started to develop and happen. Now we'll find out that the Rothschilds and the Mossad organization, they began it and organized it and run it. It's their organization. Do you know how the Antichrist is? The Rothschilds? How Nathaniel's going to watch over the whole globe? once he gets ready to do it. You know how he's going to watch the whole. Anybody want to know how he's going to watch the whole globe? I already know. Do you want to know how he's going to watch the whole globe? Somebody says they want to know. I'll tell you. If you don't, I'll wait to share it another time. So this is all happening. I mean, when it came together what was it, last week? There's so much goes on. Last week, where I found out that Victor Rothschild was basically the one who began the Mossad. Okay, so I guess somebody said yes, they want to know. All right, just because the rest of y'all are not answering me right now. I got one who did, and maybe that one will be enough. So we'll see what goes on. But yeah, I want to talk to you about this stuff tonight. I want to talk very clear. Okay, somebody else says, you can tell us how they are going to watch the whole world. Yeah, well, it's very interesting because uh, the reason that it was so big. Thank you. Got another one says I want to. I got 3 people said they want to know. Thank you for that. The reason that the information. Now listen really close. The reason that the information that I just got last week about Victor Rothschild, who is Nathaniel Rothschild, this blew my mind. Nathaniel Rothschild's grandfather was very heavily involved. Harry Truman said that Victor Rothschild, which is Nathaniel's grandfather, was the greatest agent, head of an organization, and ran the organization like he's the smartest guy we've ever seen. I mean, Harry Truman said that about him. And that was Nathaniel's grandfather. In case you haven't done any research on that yet, you need to dig in there and find it for yourself, and just don't think just because I'm telling you. So when that information came together, then I knew how they're going to watch us all, and how they're going to deal with us all, and how they're going to be around the globe. How the Antichrist is going to be around the globe. Because he's not going to be around the globe. He's already around the globe. Do you hear me? You know how he's already around the globe and watching people in the globe in secret? Because he's the Mossad. The Mossad agency is the Rothschild agency. It's one and the same. It is not separate. It is one and the same. Mossad is the greatest intelligence agency that I've ever seen, and they're trying to protect Israel. That's what their job is. I think it's a noble endeavor. I'm not saying that they're evil. I'm not saying they're bad. They're trying to shepherd Israel. They're trying to protect Israel from their enemies. And Israel has a lot of enemies around the globe. So Mossad, who already has their intelligence agency, has been around the globe for, I don't know, since 1949 and before, when they formed Mossad. That's what Mossad is. Mossad is like the CIA. The FBI is like local, the United States. CIA is global, and so is Mossad. Mossad is global. They watch everybody. They know what I'm doing, and if you're important in this move, they know what you're doing. And if they want to find out what you're doing, they can find out what you're doing right now. They already know what my stuff is. They know my stuff. I've been watching them watch me for a while. And you know who it's been the whole time? It's been Mossad. Mossad, who has already infiltrated itself around the globe, since 1949 or so, somewhere in there. Because they were already part of watching the globe when Victor Rothschild, which is back in 1939, when he was, when the Rothschild family, and with Victor Rothschild, Nathaniel's grandfather, became one of the greatest spies ever. I mean, they just have a brain toward this stuff. They're awesome. They're really trying to protect people. So they're going to go from protecting people. The Mossad's going to go from protecting Israel and protecting people. They already have people everywhere. I mean, if they want to take somebody out, if they feel like they have when you understand Mossad and a lot of these agencies, Mossad is very careful to make sure before they kill somebody, before they assassinate somebody, they make sure that these people are really bad people. Don't just start assassinating people, just assassinate them. They assassinate them because they're about to do something evil, or they are evil. And they prove that. That's what I love about Mossad. I'm not saying Mossad is evil bunch of bad people. I'm not saying that. Will they become that way? Yes, they will. They will become once Nathaniel is rejected by the rabbis, and and they reject his whole family, the Rothschild family, from shepherding Israel anymore. And I think they're gonna kill him, or they're gonna try to kill him. You got to think about that. The religious leaders in Israel are gonna try to kill him. And if it goes according to what I saw in my dream vision, that was supernaturally confirmed time and time again, that he's going to be dead, and then he's going to raise from the dead. Now, it could be that they're going to just do that with his reputation, try to destroy his reputation. I don't know. Israel is very, very strong in their belief. Like when they crucified Christ, they crucified Jesus because they thought he was a blasphemer. Right? They weren't bad people. The Jews were not bad people trying to kill good people. They really believed that he was a blasphemer. They couldn't understand him, so they crucified him. Had him crucified. Number one, God wanted them to crucify him because they did it legally before God's laws. But so I'm not saying that Mossad is going to just like they're a bad evil organization. No, they really do try to check out and make sure that the people they're going to if they have to assassinate people, that they will do it and make sure that these people are truly evil and going to try to kill people or try to kill Israelites. Right? So they're not evil people. You have to understand we got to get this in our understanding that the Mossad and the Rothschild are not evil people. They truly believe that they are going to that they're going to shepherd, which they have been shepherding Israel for many years. And Mossad has been a big part of it since 1949 when they got formed by the Israeli government. The Mossad was the Rothschilds, and Victor Rothschild was the one who, headed the thing up back then privately. They can't tell everybody it's the Rothschild because it causes problems. The Rothschilds have a reputation already; they've had it for years. You're trying to run the world and all that. Well, they are trying to run the world. But they're trying to run the world because they know the Bible says a Jew is going to run the world. Have y'all got that yet? A Jew's going to run the world. You know his name? His name is Jesus. So if the Bible says a Jew's going to run the world, you can be guaranteed that a Jew and a bunch of Jews like us, we are Jews now, we're going to run the world. Stop kicking yourself and telling yourself the Jews are not going to run the world. They are going to run the world. Jesus Christ and us who are born again Jews are going to run the world with a lot of the other Jews that I consider Israel's our mother, and Israel's is our mother. We don't, even though Israel does not, the mother of Israel does not believe like we do necessarily. They don't believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord. It doesn't mean that they're still our mother. I still love my mom, though she totally disagreed with everything I believe, most of it. I never dishonored. I love my mom. I would never dishonor her. She never could not be my mother, even though we did not believe this. So same thing with Israel. Israel is like our mother. Jesus Christ's mother was an Israelite Jew who later became a Christian, but that was the woman in the wilderness. Really is Israel, except it's not just physical Israel. It's us, Israel. The book of Revelation starts out with Revelation chapter 1, chapter 2, talking the very thing it starts out with is, hey, everything's changed now, and everybody that's born again is a Jew. And then it goes on in. And so you have to understand the rest of the book of Revelation is for the most part talking about the Jews and the woman in the wilderness. Revelation 2 is talking about us and natural Israel too. I think they're going to be saved somehow or another. So I'm not saying Israel is not of any value. I'm not saying any of that. So how are they going to watch the world? They're going to watch the world just like they've already been watching the world. They are already very well practiced at, spying and knowing exactly what's going on everywhere. Not just in Israel or in Russia or whatever. I'm talking they are everywhere. Their one world government is going to be the agency, the secret agency that will keep an eye on everything is going to be Mossad. They may not call it Mossad, but it's already a trained, well moving, uh, very well put together, strategic. You can't find anything better than Mossad. They have well trained people. Their strategies are amazing. You can go to YouTube and start looking at the everything on Mossad and make sure you get the right ones. But so this is how they're going to watch the world, y'all. You understand? This is simple. This is once I got confirmation that Nathaniel's grandfather. Oh, that just blew my mind. Oh my God, is his grandfather? What? I mean, I've done some research on Victor a long time ago, but the scientist part of it, I didn't know he was. I didn't know about all that other stuff. I've talked about Victor before, but I didn't have a clue he was involved in that. Yeah, it's amazing, y'all. So how are they going to watch it? They've already got it all set up. They don't have to practice. They don't have to organize. They're already organized. And when Nathaniel is rejected by the Jewish leaders, and he comes against Israel, and Jacob's trouble begins, or Israel's trouble begins. It's going to be Israel's trouble because Nathaniel's going to turn against Israel. He's going to take idols into the Holy of Holies, all the other gods. He's going to say, these gods are gods too. I declare I'm God. I'm sitting in the house, sitting in the seat of God. As we talked about 2 Thessalonians last week, he's going to sit in the authority place of God and say, these gods are gods too. And he's going to bring those idols and those images into the Holy of Holies. And it's going to be the abomination of desolation of the holy place. Right. And he'll do some other things too. But I'm telling you, the overall thing that's going to be the abomination of desolation in the holy place is that he's going to prove every God as being God. And he's going to be the one that God is going to say, I'm God, and that's it. And the Jews are going to freak out. They're going to go, what? And the Catholics are going to be on his side too, on Nathaniel's side. The Catholic priest, that is, I don't know about the people, but the Catholic priest and their organization is going to be on Nathaniel's side. It's going to be amazing what goes on. So how are they going to watch the world? Like they've been doing it for a couple hundred years. Or longer, however long, a couple hundred years. Somewhere at least since 1949. When that's Mossad. Mossad was organized, watch this, on December the 13th, 1949. December the 13th, look at it for yourself. I couldn't believe it. I want December the what? Not the 14th, not the 12th, but the 13th. That was mind boggling. I just went, what? December the 13th, 1949, Mossad was created. Yeah. And so, since the Rothschilds were already very intimately involved in the government, they built all the buildings that the Knesset rules in, the government rules. They built all those buildings and paid for all of it. They just it's really simple to see when you see it. Why anybody could say that anybody's going to be the Antichrist other than Nathaniel or a Rothschild? At least say a Rothschild. I know it's going to be, but at least it's going to be a Rothschild. We know that. And I know it's going to be Nathaniel, but I'm just saying it's obvious who's going to shepherd them, because they've been doing it for a long, long time, very seriously and very, very powerfully, very wonderfully in many ways. But it's all going to turn. It will turn. All right. So all the goodness they're trying to do, and now they truly have a good heart to help Israel and the world. They think they're supposed to shepherd the world in a good way. They think they really have the right ideas. They're not just trying to be evil. They're not going to turn evil until Satan enters into Nathaniel. That's when it all turns evil. And that's going to be halfway into the tribulation, as most of us know, of the Great Tribulation, which is not far off. Okay. Hopefully, I gave you some information tonight that will help you understand what's going on and how Trump and Texas and all that is telling you. Number one, that's telling you that the economy, because everybody's buying gold and silver, that somebody knows something. Excuse me, because what's happening is that the big banks are buying gold. The big banks are buying gold. What do they know that we don't know? The big boys are buying gold. Why? Because everything's fine? No. 25%. I did 90. We did 90 at PGN. They got 25%, which is a lot for those guys. Check it out for yourself. I talked about it already on another show. All right. Hope anybody, those that are listening, are learning anything. I'm downloading several different realms of information tonight. I heard the Prime Minister, I heard Netanyahu say the other day. Now watch this. I heard Netanyahu say just the other day out of his own mouth that he highly expects Iran and Israel to have the Israel relationship of friendship. I got the quote right here. He said he highly expects Israel and Iran to be best friends. Again, you know what that means? That means what we've been telling you since May of 2024, which nobody else knew specifically was going on. We told you about this, that the Iranian regime is going down. That happened when the helicopter went down. I came out the next day and I said, that's it. I'm going to tell everybody now. And I revealed a secret that I've known for a long time. Okay? Maybe you start listening a little bit closer when you figure out that what we're saying, it may sound crazy sometimes, but when it starts happening, what are we going to do? We need to start paying attention, because if we don't, we're going to be caught with our britches down, or with our whatever you want to say, our hands in the cookie jar or not in the cookie jar or something, whatever, messed up. All right. All right. Yeah. Benjamin Netanyahu said these words, that he highly expects Iran and Israel to have the Israel relationship of friendship. He said that last week. I believe it was last week. Came out of his own mouth. What's that tell you? Iran is going down. I already gave you some information that not a whole lot of people know, and that is that we have some defections in the Iranian military. I've already explained to you that when the military starts backing out of you, you're going to go down. So what are you going to fight with? New recruits? I don't think so. These are generals and colonels that are publicly preaching in the streets with megaphones and all that, and letting the speeches of the Shah of Iran, or his son, the messages that he's saying, they're publicly doing. This is unbelievable. It's happening in all the big cities. This was a major move of what we've been telling you since May of 2024. May the 20th, I believe, is the exact date, on Monday. We told you the helicopter went down. We said, that's it. It's going to happen. Get ready. What does that have to do with anything? But Shannon, we don't care about that. Well, here's why you need to care about it. Because number one, I'm telling you it's important. Number two, God's revealed it for a reason. You think God's just revealing this stuff just so we can go, oh, we knew about that? No, it is, in the realm that I live in, it is strategic, because God gave me the information. When he gave it to me, it fits in with everything else we got going on. The Antichrist, the two witnesses, the temple, all of it. It fits into all of it, because that's the mantle that I have and that I carry, that Iran regime falling down, which he showed me in 2007, 2008. And then I talked about it in 2024, early 2024, talked about it publicly, said it right on the show. And then on May the 20th, after the helicopter went down, the president of Iran died. I said, that's it. I'm going to say it now. Because I knew that was the big sign that we are heading to the next level. This is Iran going down, is one of the major points of pointing to the second coming of Jesus, or the building of the temple and the manifestation of the Antichrist, than anything you could see. I'm not saying there's not other important things, but from the realm that I see from, and that God has shown me, that was a major point that he showed me in 2007, when he showed me all the other things that were going to go on. Major events are going to go on that were total biblical major events, in the major biblical events in the Bible. He showed me those in detail in 2007, 2008, 2000, maybe 2006 through 2009. Showed them to me, wrote them for me, told me about them. It was amazing. So when I'm telling you this, you need to understand that it fits in with the puzzle that we're talking about with the two witnesses coming, the temple being built, the Antichrist. We have the red heifer stuff going on, all that's going on. They already have the ashes, the building the temple, and then the Antichrist is going to show up, and we already know who that's going to be. And when you listen to what I talk about long enough, there's no real big mystery to it anymore. It's simple and obvious who the Antichrist is. I mean, it's obvious. Those people talk out the side of their mouth and they say, "Well, I don't think that's who it is. I think it's somebody else." Like, okay. I mean, when you see something, it makes everybody else look really ignorant. I'll have to be honest with you. And I only know because God showed me. So if God didn't show me, I'd be like them. But when you see it, and then I explain everything that I've explained, it should be a slam dunk. Yeah, it is a slam dunk. But it should be a slam dunk with many of you. Okay, Revelations 18. We talked about it tonight. Come out of her, my people, that she share in her sins, that she receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities, because the cup of iniquity is filled. The fact that Trump and Governor Abbott are dealing with the Texas government, which is extremely important to understand, to watch the Texas government and what it does. Because the next few days after that, President Trump comes out and says, "Yeah, we're working together on that." He doesn't say it, but you can think, the major stuff they're doing, passing laws, they're doing it within a few weeks of each other. It's amazing. It's amazing. The fall of Babylon. That started October the 13th, 2023. That's when it started. I know it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. But God told me, too much confirmation. Israel war right before that, 6 days. 3 days before that, we bought gold and silver, 90%. Who do you know who took 90% of anything and bought and invested in something completely different, and then watched it go up, and watch it double in a few months? Double, and more than double. Actually, more than double when it was really smoking up, going up. It was way more than double. I mean, the bankers and the IRS, my wonderful friends, so far, are in awe about this. They're going like, not that they tried to stop me, but they were trying to, they're trying to help me. Thinking, that's stupid, man. You shouldn't be doing that. We love you. We care about you. We care about your ministry. We care about you. You've been with us for a long time. What are you doing? Duh. I know I can't explain it to you, but I got to obey God. And I think it just freaked them out. They're still freaked out. The IRS is still freaked out about it. They're trying to figure out what to do. Go like, who is this? Because they deal with this stuff all the time, y'all. They're not like some of us. We don't have a clue what's going on most of the time. And I'm just talking about myself. These people understand what happened more than even sometimes more than me. How big, how major, what an amazing operation this is. And that's why I'm telling you that when we passed through the Red Sea, when they think they got me backed up, the Red Sea opens up, and we're going to cross over, or however you want to say it, and they're going to chase after me. Which, I wish I could tell you everything. They're going to chase after me. And guess what? They're going to be swallowed up. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. In the name of Jesus, I guarantee it. Do all you agencies that I love so dearly, are you listening to me? I'm warning you. Do not be arrogant and pompous like Pharaoh, because you will be, however God does it, I don't know. You will be removed. Okay? I just made a public statement to those agencies just now that it's going to cost them, because they're so arrogant, they're so pompous. They think they can rule over one of God's servants with this mantle. And even though they watched me take 90% out of the bank and watched our investment go up without even really knowing what I'm doing, ignorant as you can be, making an ignorant situation, I only obey God. And that's the only reason that it's done what it's done. And it's going to continue to do what it's doing. And you think they're going to just, they're going to, what do you think they're thinking about that? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's pretty soon what they're thinking about. Because I already know. And I hope they come. The sooner, the better. I have to issue warnings. If I don't give a warning, then God cannot activate his part of the deal. That's part of the thing that I have to do. People think I'm being mean. They think I'm being Mr. Tough Guy. I'm not doing any of that. I have to put the warning out. It's a legal thing with God. I have to do my legal part of it. And then they start, thinking, I'm deceived. I mean, they're the ones that are deceived. And I think they're generally nice people. They're not evil people, but they're part of the system, and the system can't comprehend. How can an idiot take 90% and all of a sudden he's not an idiot anymore, because the manifestation is that the record breaking amount of money that was made in a short time with this type of situation, it's a record. They know that. They're looking at that. They watch it closer than I do, because they are amazed at it. And they don't know how to wrap their heads around it. Just like Pharaoh didn't know how to wrap his head around Moses and all of his craziness that he thought was crazy. That he soon found out, even with his own people, said, don't touch him anymore, because every time we try to touch him, something bad happens to us. They were trying to tell Pharaoh, don't touch him, let him go. Oh no, God wanted to make a show. God wanted to make a show out of Pharaoh. Arrogant, pompous. Man, if I said what I really know, what I think, because they're non-believers in Jesus, not because they're bad people, but they have their own way of thinking. Their own way of thinking, I contradict their way of thinking all the time. And they think they have the rule over me. Before God, I'm ruling over them. Before God. Now, in the natural realm, of course, in the natural realm, yeah, we pay our honor to them for being what they are. We give them honor as being, an organization that we, that they shepherd us to a certain degree. But we've gone way after. They don't have a clue what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They're flipped out. I mean, they are flipped out. When I can tell you everything, I'm gonna tell you, they are flipping out. It's mind-boggling. And don't be like the children of Israel and go like, yeah, well, Brother Shannon, those people, like Pharaoh, man, he's like really, he got military, he got all those people, he got power, he got all that. Yeah, I know. That's the beautiful part about the whole thing, is that it's big as Pharaoh. Congratulations to you, that organization that I'm talking about. I'm telling you, you're awesome. But our God, my God, is more awesome than you ever even thought about being. If you mind your own business, which you're not going to do, if you mind your own business, you might be okay. But your pride and your arrogance is going to cause you to chase me down through the Red Sea, when I'm going to be on the other side waiting to see what God does. Moses was used to provoke. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You need to listen closely, because when you hear me talking, you're just trying to provoke. I am not trying to. God Almighty just like he did with Moses, constantly went in before Pharaoh and provoked him. Let my people go. This little slave boy coming in with a rod with Aaron, like bad to the bone. He didn't have nothing. He had only military he had was no military. He just had a bunch of slaves. He's looking at him like, who the heck do you think you are, boy? Coming in here telling me to let my people go? And then you throw a rod down, it turns into a snake. And you know how we are into snakes around here? And I get some of my guys out here and they throw down two rods to two snakes. And I like, look at that, Moses. Now what? Well, what happened next was what's happened already in many things that I've been dealing with. My serpent, my rod ate up theirs, swallowed them whole. Intimidated, frustrated Pharaoh. Got him so ticked off. And was Moses doing that? Moses was kind of like, okay, got in. You want me to go do what? You want me to tell them what? Okay, you got to be with me because if you're not with me, I know the power of these people. These people are powerful. They'll whack me. They'll take me out. I'll be gone by tomorrow, and then I'll be the laughing stock of all Israel. And it was true. It was true. Goes to Israel and tells them what's going on. It's the man, we got to make more bricks, make our bricks with got to gather together our own straw. So, it got worse. Some things got worse, which is part of the process. Then, of course, the people of Israel started whining and complaining, and God knows they didn't know what's going on. Israel didn't know what's going on. The regular people God don't hear from God, they don't have a clue what's going on, and they'll flip out because they don't have a clue, not because they're stupid or bad or evil or nothing like that. They just don't hear from God. They don't know. They've never seen anything like this. They don't know what's happening. Just like Pharaoh didn't know what's happening. The people of Israel don't know what's happening. They're going like, huh? You're gonna do what? We're gonna make brick out of. We're gonna make our own straw now. Moses, it's getting worse. Are you creating problems for us? What's wrong with you? That's Israel. That's people like that listen to me. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. Well, you sure? What about, what if you get killed, Brother Randy? What about stuff? I'm like, yeah, I understand. It's difficult. It is difficult. Your brain can't work it out because you're not used to having something like this go on. But I am now. I'm very confident that when God tells me to go do something, and He's going to have me intimidate them, He's going to have me stir them up, He's going to have me provoke them until they lose it. Until He, time after time after time after time after time after time, He's going to show them, I'm with that boy. See what He did with the 90% of that cash? You see what happened with that? I did that, not him. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't have a clue what he's doing. He just throws his rod down when I tell him to, and it doesn't because he's doing what I tell him. That's all. He doesn't know anything. He's just doing what I say. They do it over and over and over and over again until Egypt is destroyed. Egypt is taken down. That's the goal, friend. Babylon is going to come down because God's going to use a servant who's going to provoke them like Moses did Pharaoh. It's going to drive them crazy, and they're going to figure out, why can't we stop this man? He don't have nothing. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Yeah, he had the plagues, one plague after the other, and we couldn't stop it. We stopped a couple of them. We copied a couple of them, but we can't stop him. We don't know. Even his own magicians told him, man, give up on this guy. He's got something we don't got. And that's the process that's working right now. And God has me go in different ways and provoke them. And I've told God, I wish I could tell you, but I told God just recently, just in the last few weeks, He had me do some stuff that I was like, well, what are you doing? He said, just do it, Chandler. I'm provoking them. I know I ain't. I have nothing to do with it. Okay, and I did it, and I did it. And when I can tell you the stuff that happens that goes on, one of these days it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. We have a modern day, unusual Moses and Pharaoh with Egypt and God's people kind of thing going on. And he is using me. Sometimes I'm going like, what the heck is going on, man? And he's just having me provide. I'm deliberately and willfully. I'm not, but God is having me deliberately and willfully provoke them and challenging them. You know, here I am. Come and get me. You think you can stop this? Here we are. I'm a nobody. I'm a little slave boy. Ain't got much. That's why God doesn't give me a lot of power and authority for it, because He wants me to keep low so He can be lifted up high. And He knows I'm going to admit I don't provoke those people on purpose. It's not me doing that. God is just crazy, man. God is just, I mean, He's just like wild and crazy. And I love it. I just simply love it. It's just mind boggling. And I'm not over here trying to build a ministry thing, if that's what most people think. Moses wasn't trying to build a ministry. He's trying to get, the system changed over, trying to get the people of God to realize something's going on and to come out from among them and be ye separate, be ye holy. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. Take it or leave it. That's it. And it's only the beginning. It's been going on for a while, but it it has little flare ups. Moses goes in there, throws a rod down. They copied that. And he goes out and turns the water into blood. They kind of copy that, and it's then he started doing I think one more thing. I think the lies they did the last thing. I can't remember exactly where it all started, but somewhere it went in there and started shifting. So the last I think 7 plagues. I think 7 or something like that. 6 or 7 plagues. They couldn't copy them, and they couldn't figure out what's going on here because we have no control over any of this. And that's what these people and these agencies are finding out. We can't control him, and we could just go in. We could do this. We could do that. We could do all kind of thing, and we don't know why, but it just ain't working, and it ain't gonna work until this process is finished. And I'm talking to them right now. They know that I'm talking to them. I don't just have this show to talk to y'all. I know y'all think that, and I love you, and I thank you for backing me and supporting me because you're part of this. And they and yeah. So welcome to Monday night. Isn't this been awesome? Is the hair standing up on the back of your head? Probably not. Any word on Candace thing? She said Macron put a hit on her. I don't know. I don't think. I don't. Did you send me something about Candace? Shannon saying something about Candace. I didn't look into that. You want to tell me what that's about, if you don't mind? Um, yeah, Macron. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I can't say because I don't really know. She's been digging deep on Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I don't know. The Charlie Kirk thing has gotten crazy. I don't know what all's going on with all that, but thank you for letting me know about that. I don't have any opinions about that right now or any words about that. Uh, so that's very interesting, though. I'm sure it's fun to watch. I haven't been watching it actually. I have so much happening that I'll hopefully I'll be able to tell you. I think I'll be able to tell you. I don't know when, but um, but there's some real stuff going down, and I'm not talking about things I feel. things I feel and things I sense. I'm talking about they have approached me. They have approached me again just recently. Yeah. And I wish I could tell you what name they call me. Oh, you would love that. Yeah, it's getting crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't keep up with Candace. I think it's pretty amazing what all's going on with that. It's very interesting. I have my own. I'm running in my lane basically. When you're the run when you're in the front line, you run the race. There's not nobody else in your lane with you. You're by yourself in your lane. But that's the way it's supposed to be. And so I'm in my lane by myself. Nobody else can run my race. I'm the only one that can run it. Uh, I'm not saying God can't do other things. He can do whatever he wants to do. But he's been training me for a long time to do my job, and I've gotten better and better at obeying him no matter what he says, even when he has me provoke him on purpose. He has me provoke him on purpose. Just like Pharaoh would go in there by the word of the Lord and provoke Pharaoh to say, every time Moses said to Pharaoh, let my people go, it was like an insult and a slap in his face. Y'all ever thought about that? It was like an insult, like, you gonna do, let your people, what? You idiot. Moses is an idiot until they found out that he wasn't an idiot. And then it was too late. And that's what the exact same thing is happening with me. God has me go in there and say, like, here I am, come and get me, you can try. And I don't know exactly all the details that what's happening, what's going to happen. But all I can tell you is that's where I'm at. I've been there for a while, but I just haven't been able to confront it and talk about it until right now. I'm breaking open some stuff tonight that you can take or leave it if you want. I care whether you believe it or not, but I really don't care. I'm not even just talking to y'all. I think some of y'all who listen, you try to believe, you want to believe. I think you do believe. I don't know what you believe, but it doesn't change anything I do because I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to them. They know that I'm talking to them. Okay, this is a confrontation thing happening through what we do here, and I haven't been able to tell you about the Moses provocative thing until tonight, but that is what is going on. And I have people saying, "I believe you. Thank you for that." You know, I thank you. I really don't have to have anybody believe in me, but it really does. It's kind of nice. It does kind of make you feel good, when people sincerely mean it. I think they do. I think we have a lot of good people. Uh, the people that are with us are God fearing, wonderful people. However, since you don't have the mantle that I have, you can't deal with the things that I deal with. But you do have a mantle, okay? And somebody else said, "I believe you." Thank you. Yes, I know some of you do believe, and I really believe you believe it. Uh, I don't want to mention names right now, but thank you, thank you for that. I really do love you guys, and I really do appreciate it. Except uh, three people said, "I believe you," and I believe you believe it. So thank you for that. I really do love that, and I appreciate that very much. Um, I have a job to do. I'm not afraid or not scared. In fact, I'm so excited uh, because this process has been going on for about 5 years. They did some really crazy things, and I've never had this stuff happen. Yeah, I had people saying that you were made for this. Thank you for that. I really was. I've been made for it, and it took some while. I took a while because I was kind of like Abraham, and God says, "I'm going to bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you." Not in those exact words, but He said the same thing to me that I'm gonna, if, as long as you do what I say, and I know that you will, then I'm going to protect you. I'm going to watch over you. I'm going to make a show out of you. I'm going to use you like I use, I don't want to say all the men of God. I'm going to use you like I used Moses. I'm going to use you like I used Elijah. And some of you are in the same shoes. It'll be different than what I'm doing, but you'll be used by God in many different ways. I am particularly have a like Trump in many ways, a very provocative thing that he has me do. That's why I like Trump. He's very provocative. Uh, and so, you know, I don't really care where Trump is or not Trump isn't. I mean, necessarily, I in some ways, I do care a lot about it. But to me, I look at everything as either God is with us and He's getting this done, or He's not. Because you can't really just have a blinded eye and say stuff is not happening that's never happened before. And in my personal life, I can tell you that uh, they have made it clear for a while. I told you they've been watching me. I knew they were watching me for a long time, but they never came out of the hiding. They never came out of hiding before. It was always hidden. And I just looked like a paranoid person, and I was not. I looked like I was delusional, but I was not delusional. And so now they come out into the open, literally. And they're not mean, they're not ugly, they're not treating me bad to my face, but I already know what they're thinking. See what I'm saying? Because I know when God shows you stuff, you just know stuff. And so just recently, out of the blue, He asked me to do something to provoke them. I didn't do it because I wanted to do it. I did it because, so, and that has been picking up lately, where I'm becoming more of an aggressor of just doing, innocent, not violent things, but not anything violent, anything, not like that at all. But just God is trying to get them to, well, they've already come out into the open now, but He's trying to provoke them to show their face a little more, maybe a lot more, so that He can deal with them however He wants to do it. I don't know how He's going to do it. Some of them might get saved. Some of them might get, whatever. I don't know. But every time I tell them, like Moses, every time Moses told Pharaoh, let my people go, it's like the insult with that to Pharaoh was like, you are so stupid, Moses. How can you say something like that to me? I'm Pharaoh, boy. You were raised with me. You know about this stuff. We are stronger than anybody. How can you come up to me as a slave and somebody who, and your people are nothing but a slave? How can you even think about that? How can you even go there? It was an extreme insult to Pharaoh for him to even say that. But then what happened was, after the first couple of times, they couldn't copy any of them. And when they couldn't copy them, then they started thinking more sober minded. Like I said, some of his own people said, we don't know what he's got, but he's got something that we don't have. And that's the God's purpose of doing what He's doing, is He's showing them that I have something, because I'm a servant of God, that they've never dealt with before. I'm a one-man band in a sense. I mean, I'm not a one-man band. You guys are with me, and yet you're on my side, and I really appreciate that. But I'm a one-man band as far as, if he could have just taken out Moses anytime he wanted to, lock him up, but he couldn't do it. Why couldn't he do it? Because God was protecting him. That they wanted to, they thought about it. Hey, we'll just make a fool out of him. They were trying to make a fool out of Moses. Let him make a fool of himself. By this time tomorrow, this is going to happen. Yeah, right. Well, it did. And then he goes in again the next day when Pharaoh says, no, I changed my mind. He said, let my people go. Another insult, another provocative statement. You keep doing this, you fool. Yeah, but Moses kept coming up with results, and those plagues that were hitting them were very real, and they had to beg him to stop doing it. Can you stop that from happening now? Can you get rid of the frogs? Can you get rid of the darkness? This is what's happening, y'all. In a whole different kind of way. And it's just begun. But God had to show me for 5 years, and all the things I talked to y'all about, if you remember them, things He took me through that I thought, surely I'm going down now. Oh, surely I'm going down now. This time I'm going down. And even though God told me, like He told Abraham, I'm gonna curse those who curse you and bless those who bless you, I just have a real hard time of literally thinking, when you're talking about these powerful people, and many of them are probably really good people, but they're just on the wrong side. You just think, man, I don't have any power over these people. These people can take me down anytime, and they never could. And they tried pretty good. And what was God doing? He's giving me testimonies that I could stand before God and them this day and say, here I am. You want to touch me? I don't recommend it because I don't know what God's going to do. I don't have a clue what's going to happen or what's going to go on, but I have to warn them. Like Moses, if he hadn't have gone in and warned Pharaoh, let my people go, or else he had to do that like 10 times. You have to go tell them. That's why I have this platform. This is my platform, standing before Pharaoh, saying, let my people go and don't touch God's money and don't touch God's stuff. Because if you try to, I do not know what God's going to do, but you're going to find yourself in a heap of trouble. And I have to warn them publicly. Moses didn't do it in a secret, some private thing. No, he did it. I'm doing this publicly. And I only do it because I know God is with me. If I didn't think that, are you kidding me? You think I'd be an idiot? You think I don't know? What I mean, the Mossad people, they could take me out in a second. I could have been dead. I should have been dead already. They could have killed me out a long time ago. But God's protecting me in different reasons. There's other different reasons for that, but because number one, I'm not against Mossad. Mossad's going to become, it's going to be the way that they're going to rule the world, or are going to, I say, going to try to rule the world and watch over the world and shepherd the world like they think they're called to do, but they're going to do it for their own reasons. And that's when it's going to mess them up. Before that, they're great people trying to do a great job, a very wonderful job. But who am I against that? I don't have a chance. You think I don't know that? You think I'm stupid? You think I didn't used to fear walking down the road, wondering if they're going to, some marksman's going to take me out? You think I haven't thought that and wondered about that and waited for that? You think I haven't known that? You think I'm stupid? I am not stupid. I'm not that stupid. And I long for them to try. I long for that because now I know that God is with me in this endeavor to come out from among them and be ye separate. And when we cross the Red Sea and they get, covered up, that's going to be pretty devastating, but it's going to be a testimony. It's going to be an amazing testimony. And all the other testimonies are going to be amazing too, when I can tell you about. And they're going to be they're public in a way. And you'll see. All right. It's almost 10 o'clock. I've been going for 2 hours, almost 2 hours. So thank you for those tonight and say, I believe you. You were made for this. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And I believe you. And some people texting me, telling me you believe. Thank you for that. Honest to God. I do not want to be alone in this, but I had to do it alone in the sense of knowing that God was with me. It's like Abraham had to walk alone. His wife was with him, but his wife, how could his wife protect him? His wife couldn't protect him. Either they're going to come get his wife, and what's he going to do? They're going to kill him for his wife, right? And he knew that. So what did he do? He countered it. She's my sister, and we all do our share of that stuff. So, but did I believe it all in the beginning? Just like Moses. That's why I talk about Abraham so much in that area, because I understand that completely, or not completely, but a lot. I understand how that feels for God to tell you that I'm going to protect you no matter what, and I'm sending you into the Holy of Holies. I'm going to send you to all over the world prophetically, and you're going to bring down the system. And and it's going to cause some problems. We've already done that in some ways. The plagues that have hit. I'm calling them plagues. The plagues have been public. What plagues have we seen that have been public? Well, most people didn't recognize it, but the plague of the merchandisers. We told you about the merchandisers for a long time. Marcus Lamb was the first one to go out. We told you a week, maybe 2 weeks before he died. And all my agency friends that listen to me, they know about all this stuff. They know about every bit of this. They know everything I've said. Everything I said about Marcus Lamb, I still loved him, but God had me prophesy, so he's gonna be taken out. They know all this stuff, y'all. They know everything. That's why they're a little bit afraid. Can I just tell you, they are a little bit afraid, and they're gonna be a lot more afraid when it's all over with. They've seen me say these things. They've watched it. They have the documentation better than I got it. Why do you think they watch me so close? They know everything. They've watched the merchandising people be wiped out. Many of them, big ones. Marcus Lamb being one of the first ones. And then many preachers after that being taken out. What do you think that was? That was called one of Chandler's plagues that God spoke about for a long time. It finally started to come to pass during Joe Biden's, when he was president. That was a plague that came upon them, not upon me. I didn't do it. I wasn't merchandising. And any of you that are merchandising, get ready. Get out of it before that plague comes upon you. Get out of it before it destroys you, because it will destroy you, especially now that you've been warned. And that's my job to warn. I'm not warning because I'm trying to threaten people. I'm warning people because I have a job to do, and I love doing my job. I love the challenges that I have. I actually crave it. It sounds crazy, I know, but I crave it. And let me tell you something. I've seen the fear in some of those people's eyes. This one particular lady, I don't want to tell you what she said. It's going to from one of those organizations, and she walked up to me, and the bad thing had gone on before that, but she walked up to me and started saying some stuff, and looking right at me, talking to me, and all of a sudden her eyes got big. I don't know what she saw. I don't know what she saw, but she stopped talking right away. She opened her mouth, said a couple of small things to me, to my face, and then her eyes got big, and she looked like she freaked out. I can't say for sure. She looked like she saw something. I don't know what she saw. Whether she saw an angel, I don't know. I have no proof. I can't say. But she saw something, because all of a sudden she was there to approach me and whatever. I don't know what exactly all she's going to tell me, but she approached me to my face, did the bad thing before that with another person, and she was walking to me and started opening her mouth and saying a couple things to me, and all of a sudden her eyes got big and looked like they turned red. That's what it looked like to me, like fear hit her. And she shut up after that. She stopped talking to me and walked away. So whatever she saw, I don't know. I can't say. But I have an angel. I have more than one, but I have angels that watch over me. I've had some angels slap people before in front of my face. I watched them slap them without seeing their hand or their face. I saw their faces be slapped at the same time. One of the most unusual things I've ever seen. The angel just slapped them, literally, physically, and then Christ, I not what is it? All right, so just so you know that. And this is just one of many, 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 many things. And so I don't know whether she saw an angel stand up over me. I have not a clue. Maybe she thought I was uglier than she thought I was going to be, or something, or I don't know what she thought. But she saw something, and it shut her mouth, and she walked away like she saw something. Okay, I haven't talked to her since then. I don't know what she saw. If she saw any, I don't know what she saw, but she freaked out. Yeah, and so when I can tell you everything, I just want to tell you, I love to tell it all. I love telling it all, and so it's exciting. I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled. I know I don't have a chance without Jesus, but because Jesus has already proven himself to me in major, major, major ways, and the financial thing, which is one. That was a major. Y'all, I don't think y'all don't realize what a major, amazing victory that is. I mean, that was a record set. Do you understand that? Most of you don't have. I know I can't tell. I haven't told you all of it, so you don't know. But I'm just telling you, it's a record set. In their eyes, who would be stupid enough to take 90% of their cash and go buy gold and silver? Nobody. 50% would have been way too much to even think about. These central banks are buying 25%, and they're just saying how big, what a big deal that is. I'm going like, yeah, that is a big deal for them, but the percentage for me was a lot more. The percentage, the measure was a lot more than them, and anybody that I know of. I'm doing some searching on it. Anybody who's ever made a deal like that, ever, and produced that much fruit that fast from a unknown, totally unknown thing that I knew nothing about, have no knowledge of, gold and silver, have no knowledge of any of it. I was just dumb as a cow. The Lord just says, buy it before October the 13th, 2023. I sent out the cards in 2022. Remember that? That was a prophetic act. It was not saying that 2022 was the deal, because I already knew 2023 was the deal. And boy, was it a massive deal. A massive deal. Okay, thank you guys for your support. You don't know what that means to me. You know, I want to talk about my personal life a little bit. I'm not going to do that tonight. And how God has set me apart. And He's not allowed me to do anything or go anywhere much of anything. Just like, I feel like Paul the Apostle to a certain degree, locked up in prison. I'm not locked up in prison. He was put in prison, and he wrote most of the New Testament being locked up. I don't, it's not about me being locked up. It's about that I feel like I'm so sanctified, I'm so set apart by the Lord that it's like I can't even think of doing anything else but what I'm doing. It's like I just can't do anything else. I can't even move forward with anything as far as personal stuff because I'm so wrapped up in what God is doing. If I could tell you everything, then you would understand it, maybe. And I'm just waiting for. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it's all going in specific details on everything. I know the overall and most of it yet, but every specific detail I do not know. So pray for me that I will continue to be bold and strong and fearless and faithful to Jesus. That I don't bow in any fashion or form. That I not do anything but know what I already know and keep knowing it, and that is that if God's for me, who could be against me? If God is if God is for me, then who gives a rip what they try to do or think? It doesn't matter. And I mean that literally. And they listen to me tell them, tell them to their face. All right. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for sending me prayer. I see some of you text me prayer requests, prayer hands. Thank you for that. Somebody just sent an offering. Thank you for that. Somebody just sent an offering from Cash App. Thank you for that. I don't ask for offerings. God, people give because they want to. But thank you for that. Showing the support. I appreciate it. I guess that's what that is. It just looks like it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much. I really mean that. And I think you know that. I'm just trying to be open with you guys. And welcome to Monday, our prophetic show for Monday. Welcome. I hope it's been an enlightening night. And I have much more to talk about. And I never know what I'm going to talk about it exactly, but I'm trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together for you guys. And of course, the other part of my whole ministry is that as precious as you are to me, I'm here to confront and to warn those agencies and people that are trying to figure out what the heck is going on and think they have all this power over me and authority over me, which in the natural realm, of course. In the spiritual realm, if I was them, I have to warn them. If I was them, I'd be really careful what I do. And I think for the most part, a lot of honest people in these organizations, truly honest people, and I truly mean it with all my heart, truly honest, truly good people, but they get motivated by the wrong things, and sometimes it can cost you, uh, and it can cost you. All right, Michelle Lynn says liturally. What liturally mean? I don't know what liturally means. You got to explain what you mean by liturally. So, okay, I didn't want to name too many names tonight. People supporting me. I will do that later, but I appreciate you. I'm trying to keep it as low key as possible, but be as upfront because, like I said, I'm not approaching just you guys. I'm approaching the agencies, these agencies of really wonderful people trying to do the right thing. But when God constantly provokes them and says, "Let my people go," and it's provoking, and the things that I say and do is very provoking to them, though it's God. It's like Moses when he said it was, God told him to say that. So I'm doing it because the Lord's telling me to, not because I'm like trying to stir up trouble. It's not. It's not it at all. Believe me, uh, that's not it. Okay, good to be with you tonight. I'm going to call it a night. I think. Unless anybody has any questions they would like to ask me. Yes, yes. Okay, literally, if God be for us, who be against us, as you said earlier. Yes, thank you for that. I don't know who that is. Lost somebody named Lawson, Michelle Lawson. Thank you for that. For that, yes, literally. And if you only knew, if I could, I've talked about some of it before when I started downloading some things that I went through with these people, with these agencies, uh, who are in the all over the place. They just don't know quite what to do, and so they're a little fearful. That's going to make them a little bit upset. They're a little fearful. Uh, they do know more than some of us know, some of y'all know of what has really happened with me and them and it. They know more than anybody knows. And people who don't believe me when I tell them all the stuff that's going on, uh, they know it more than anybody. Exactly what they've done and what's going on. So it is literally, uh, you know, God's on my side. Then what do I have to worry about? Absolutely nothing. And I know He's on my side because I'm doing what He tells me to do. Right? I'm not doing my own thing here. I'm doing what He tells me to do because of that. It's intimidating for them, and they are trying to figure out how to handle it. And they're not quite sure if they should attack or what. They kind of like watch over and make sure I'm going to do everything right, making sure I'm going to be honest, making sure I'm being truthful, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Making sure that I'm doing everything up front, that's a fine job. I think that's great. And I think a lot of their motives are like that. But yeah, it's gone to new levels. Like I said, most of these people are just good, ordinary people trying to do a good job for our country, for uh, you know our nation, for protecting people. But there will be a time when they will say that they're killing us to protect people. That will happen to some of us, you know, right? Yeah. So, but until I know nobody can touch me until I do finish my job, and that's a few years down the road. So we got a lot. We got a lot to cover here. It's actually just getting started. So at the next level, getting started. Okay, so these people know that I'm not hateful. I'm not calling them evil. I'm just saying, do not mess with God's stuff. Uh, Checking to make sure that I'm being honest and truthful and all that. That's a good job. Thank you for that. But when you go beyond that, and you start making judgments that are not of God, then then you're going to have a problem, not me. Right? As long as I do what God said me to do, and I'm not ugly, I'm not rude, I'm not violent, I'm not any of that stuff. Yeah, not interested in any of it. I let God take care of all of it, and that's it. Okay, y'all. I guess that's it for me tonight. Unless somebody has something they want to say, you want to talk about, you want to ask me some questions, you can. But I'm going to give it a minute or two, and then I'm going to call it a night. So I wanted to download with you guys tonight. Thank you for being on with us. Thank you for all those agencies that watched us, and there you go. Got it firsthand. I'm not calling anybody evil. I'm not saying anybody's, you know, being dishonest. It's just a wrong believing sometimes turns things the wrong way. And the way God has me doing the like Moses did, let my people go, provocative type thing, it's going to eventually turn it one way or the other. And I know it's already know which way it's going to go. So, uh, yeah, we're just looking forward to watching God do his thing because I sure can't do anything. Who am I? I'm nobody except his servant, period. No power, have no authority of my own, in my own realm, none. I'm duh. But in Jesus Christ, I rule over all of them. In Jesus Christ, as God's servant. When you have a job to do, the authority that you have as that job God has given you, it rules over all things. In the natural realm, I'm a nobody. I'm just like Moses. In the natural realm, he was just a slave. He was a nobody, and that is definitely me. But in Christ, and God being sent by God to do a work, that changes the whole dimension of everything. And that's when Pharaoh started finding out uh, what his people found out. You need to let these people go, man. They got something we don't have. That's the goal. So that's the goal. No violence, no ugly, evil, calling people evil and bad. As far as they will turn evil eventually, but that is not happening right now. It's just they're trying to figure it out. And so, uh, yeah, okay, all right. Anybody got anything you want to say? I'm gonna go ahead and literally call it a night. Great tonight. Thanks to everybody who watches and pays attention. Thanks for the offering tonight. That was nice. Thank you for that. Appreciate that very much. It's encouragement. Um, all right. I know we have a delay on the video, so I have to give it a minute for people to hear this before I get a chance to respond. Give them a chance to respond if they're going to do that. Okay, I think that's it. I think the delay, I think I'm working the delay pretty good. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for your support. Thanks for saying you're with me. I believe that you believe in me. I thank you for that. You were made for this. That was awesome. Other people saying things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we make sure I'm not missing any text or anything be sent to me. I'll make sure I check everybody. Shannon says a friend of his thinks that Trump is playing for the deep state like a puppet. Sometimes think he has slightly compromised, but also has to be careful in how he moves. I believe he is the chosen by God, or him compared to Jehu and Cyrus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. Very much so. Uh, Someone else says, I believe what you speak of. I've been praying for you daily. I'll continue to do so. Randy, add you asked, add as you asked us to. Oh, yeah, continue to do so as you asked us to. Yes, thank you for that comment. Thank you for that prayer. Thank you, others, for saying, I believe in you. Thank you for that. Amen. You know what? With God, all things are possible, and we're going to obey God. That is for sure. Okay, by the grace of God, so pray for me that I will keep my eyes and my motives, intentions will be not to call out people that are innocent, but because I know where it's going to go, that's what you hear in my voice. Be like, I know where it's going to go, and I know how God's going to protect, and God's going to show Himself mighty, and it's going to be amazing. And they are afraid to a certain degree, and the fear will increase as things develop. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye bye.